question number 9, gentlemen. This is, again, an agree or disagree statement. And they each have 1 minute and then a 30-second rebuttal on each side. The statement is, agree or disagree with the following statement. Whether one believes in evolution or creation, there is a measure of faith involved if either is accepted as fact. Faith is defined as believing something that is unseen or unobserved directly. 1 minute, Mr. Hussain.
I would say that I would disagree. That I would not consider that faith in the way that faith is defined here. Defined as believing something that's unseen or unobserved directly. Every new fossil that we find, every new genome that we sequence, every new species that we find tests evolution. And there are so many ways that you could pull the rug out from evolution and it would collapse. And along with that collapse, whoever did that experiment would win a Nobel Prize. I promise you that. They will win a Nobel Prize and that will go down in every biology textbook to be printed. Now, let's think of some ways that it could be falsified. Now, faith, you can't falsify that. A pre-cambrian peccary, a Mesozoic man, or a bird with genes for nipples. That won't happen. If someone could find that and confirm it and get it published, it would be falsified, and they would go on to win that Nobel Prize I talked about earlier. So this idea that faith is required for evolution in the way that it's said here, I would disagree with.
I think when you ask if either a creator, creation, or evolution is to be accepted as fact, you would have to go out on a limb with some faith there. Is absolutely true. If you're going to call it fact, if you're going to say, and that's a loose word too in the scientific community, but if you're going to call evolution fact, or be totally confident in the theory, you're going to have to acknowledge the fact that when you find something that we might call an intermediary species, a fossil that looks like a mix between something in between the reptile and the bird, somewhere in not just the decades or the centuries or the millennia, but beyond there are all of these steps that are missing in the process to get to that species, and yet we, with all of that unseen material, still claim, yes, we found the link between the two. That's a lot of faith. There's far more that's unseen than seen in that analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. We're going on question number 10. Did you rebuttal? I lost track.
No rebuttal yet.
Okay. Got a bit. That's rebuttal on Mr. Hussain.
In response to his, I would disagree. I would simply say that it's been said, and I've emailed my various biology professors for this, that if we had zero fossils whatsoever. Fossilization is a very, very difficult process. It's very, very rare, and the amount of fossils we have, we're very lucky to have. If we had no fossils whatsoever, we could confirm evolution, and I don't mean in an absolute manner like you were talking about. Confirm it within reasonable doubt using simply just genetic coding and the genetic information, the genetic markers that exist in our DNA and the DNA of various other organisms that exist on the Earth.
In essence, what he's saying is if you took the patterns basically in DNA and you were to take a look at them and you saw that, hey, the pattern looks exactly the same, the evolutionary community would say, with minor variations, the evolutionary community would say, aha, very similar, common ancestor. Whereas if you're coming at it from, and there's a lot of unseen there, you're not seeing the offspring, the generations, and so forth. You just see a similarity in pattern, which there's another explanation for that, and that could easily be a variation on the same design, right? But by a designer or creator. And so, again, you're filling in a lot of gaps with evolution the same way that someone else may fill in gaps with God. And I think it can work both ways.